and welcome to the Evolve with Emily show YouTube channel. The best way to support the show on this YouTube channel is to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, and or share it with a friend. I hope that you guys enjoy this episode in whichever way you choose to support the show. I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much. I hope that today's message and episode brings some bit of positive change to your life. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Evolve with Emily show. I'm your host, Emily Hayden, and you guys are joining me for a solo episode today. So I have a few announcements before we get into the main topic of today's show. So right now, currently, it's in the middle of March, if you are listening to this episode when it goes live. And at the beginning of the year, we set goals. At the beginning of the year, we decided what monthly goals we were going to hit and how that would break down into weekly goals and also daily goals. So I just want to bring it to your awareness so that you can do a little bit of an inventory with yourself, check in and see how you're doing. Are you still on target for those goals? And I mention that now because this is usually the time when people start to drop off. They start to lose that motivation that got them started in the first place, and they start to drop the ball. They fall into their old habits, patterns, beliefs, and things that aren't serving them well. And it's just from getting distracted and getting busy with life that you start to let all these other things kind of fall to the side. So do a little inventory with yourself and check in, see where you're at. Make some small attainable goals over the next 2 weeks throughout the rest of March or whenever you're listening to this. And then when the new month comes around, break it down. Say, okay, what are my monthly goals? By the end of the month, what are the goals I want to hit in these different areas of life? And then break that down to your weekly goals, and then make sure you know what you need to do every single day to make a little bit of progress on that goal. If you guys will do that, you will get to where you're going. Promise. Next thing, Evolve the Retreat is May 12th through 15th in Houston, Texas. So save the date. Evolve X clients are going to get first dibs at very limited tickets that we have. So if you're a client, make sure to look out for the email. Most likely it'll fill up through the clients. We may have a few spots left over, which then I'll probably announce to my podcast or my Instagram, somewhere on social. So stay tuned for that. And if you guys have wanted to be a part of Evolve X, now has never been a better time. If you are a part of Evolve X, when we release tickets, you'll definitely get one of the first chances at a ticket. Evolve X is my 90-day mental, physical, and spiritual development program. So in this program, you're going to be focusing on your physical fitness, on your nutrition, and then also on your mindset mentorship, which covers all of those aspects of life. If you're interested in that, the link is always down below. So definitely check that out. Next announcement, I will be at FitCon Utah. So if you're in Utah, come see me, come say what's up. I'll be with Transcend, and I'm really looking forward to it because it'll be my first time meeting all the Transcend guys in person, and they have just been such incredible people since day one of meeting them. They are just such good people, and I'm excited to be around them because they always bring good energy, even through a FaceTime or Zoom call, which is pretty awesome. So I'm excited for that, and I hope to see you guys at FitCon Utah. And getting to the point of today's show, I recently went to an event called Guns and Geese. And if you follow me on Instagram, then you probably saw a lot of the behind the scenes on that. And essentially what it is a 3-day course focusing on the fundamentals of tactical firearms and also Ju Jitsu, right? Guns and keys. And I was really excited for this course because one of my newer friends within the last year or so, Greg Anderson, he told me about it. And it's a course that he puts on with Greg Lappin and also Professor Joe Assis. And they are all just so incredible in their respective fields of what they do. And so they came together and they offer this course, which is very beginner friendly, by the way. I actually didn't realize how beginner friendly it was going to be, but they have people from all walks of life come and be a part of this 3-day event, right? So you get there on a Thursday, you do this like intro thing. They have some really bomb goodie bags, by the way. Like I was highly impressed. I was like, I've been to a lot of events and this is a serious goodie bag. Is that what people call it? Or I don't know. What do they call it? What's that term for it? I can't remember. Anyways, their bags are awesome. Definitely worth it. It's worth the course just for the goodie bag. But we get there and everyone shares like their intentions and why they came. And I thought that was a really important part of the weekend because right from the get-go, we kind of get to have a little insight into why people are there and what made them sign up. And there are people there that were white belts in jiu-jitsu or doesn't even know what a belt is in jiu-jitsu, all the way to like multiple black belt jiu-jitsu, right? People from on all ends of the spectrum, people of all fitness levels, all ages were there, male and female. It was really cool to see such a wide variety of different people from all walks of life that were here to spend time to, develop skills within themselves. And there was a lot of people that felt apprehensive, that felt scared to be there and felt uncomfortable. They were not in their zone, not in their element. And then there were also people that were like the chief of police or head of bomb squad and like these serious badass individuals. You know what I mean? We had a lot of policemen there and ex-military. And, we had also like tech guys there that probably didn't feel very comfortable in Ju Jitsu or with guns or whatever. So it was really cool. Like here's the thing. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I come from a place called A-Leaf. And if you guys know where that is, it's kind of the hood. But I'm used to, and I grew up in a very diverse environment. So diversity to me feels like home. And so in this group, I was like, yes, like these people are great, right off the bat, I was really excited to be there. So it goes forward throughout the weekend. And in the morning, we would go to the gun range and we would learn for the fundamentals. And then in the evening, we would go to the mats and we would do jiu-jitsu for like 2 hours and then roll for another, supposed to be 30 minutes, but I think we kind of went over every single time. And it was really incredible. I was really impressed with how even the people who I feel were like experts in their field, we had like literally one of my friends is a shooting instructor, right? And she's shooting next to me. And then there's me who I haven't gotten any shooting reps in since October, before that since June. So it's kind of like as if you squat twice a year and then you're trying to hit a PR, right? And you're like, this is not working. I suck at this. Anyway, so it was cool how even experts in their field were there with this learning mentality of, okay, we're covering the basics of drawing your weapon and firing and, all of these things that are probably normal and natural to them, but they're actually fine tuning it and even just getting 1% better. And then there were a lot of us that were still very beginners at these things, right? So we're like, oh my gosh, this feels like a lot. Like I'm learning everything all at once, trying to have, the perfect grip and this and hit the target and whatever. And then dealing with, if you're somebody who is high, you have high standards for your performance. Let me tell you what, there's that saying, it sucks to suck, and it really sucks to suck. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend and be like, yeah, guys, go out there and put yourself in an uncomfortable situation and just suck. It's totally fine and do it with a smile on your face. No. For some of us, it like doesn't feel good to suck, right? The feeling that you have when you suck is just like, ugh, I hate sucking, right? But you have to put yourself in those scenarios if you ever want to get better, right? And so that's a lot of what I experienced this weekend is just that reflective mirror of, okay, like this is where we're currently at. And I have to put my pride aside. I have to put my ego aside. And there is no pride or ego. Like I'm new to these things, right? But there is that sense of like performance pride or ego, right? Like I want to be better at this and I suck at this. But what was cool is it was such a welcoming and warm environment to be able to suck, to be able to be a beginner, and some people there were like, you don't suck, you're a beginner. And I agree with that. But like, I also am kind of a hard ass like on myself. So I think, that I suck and I'll get better. But that's the thing is it's a motivating force for me. And, I'll have to say one of my girlfriends that was there, Rachel, she made an Instagram post that I actually wanted to share with you guys because she, like me, was also, beginner, newbie, and all of these things, learning all of these things. And she made an Instagram post that was really impactful. So I'm just going to read it from her. Her name is Rachel Shear. So make sure to follow her on Instagram. And she said, I spent the last 3 days at Guns and Geese Official, a tactical firearms and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu immersion led by some of the very best. I have to say this was so out of my comfort zone in going. And honestly, I didn't know what I was getting into when I said yes to Emily Hayden. There's some pretty funny stories behind that, but I won't throw you under the bus, Rachel. She was amazing. We had a lot of laughs this weekend. And she says, but that's exactly what I did. It's so easy to continue to only get better in the areas we're already good at. It's scary and humbling to start something completely new, be willing to completely suck at it, and lean into the discomfort physically and mentally. This is why most people stay stuck in jobs they hate, shitty relationships, are overweight and unhappy. It requires being someone completely new and being uncomfortable where you can't predict the outcome. And to be honest, it feels like you're even taking a step back. But in reality, in doing so, you're going to take 3 steps forward. And it's when we're humble enough to suck, lean into the pain of change, the discomfort of letting go of control, that's when true confidence is created. And then she shared a quote by Robert Kiyosaki, is that how you say that? Before I learned to ride a bike, I first fell down many times. I've never met a golfer who never lost a golf ball. I've never met someone who's fallen in love who's never had their heart broken. I've never met someone rich who's never lost money. I've never met someone who genuinely loved life who didn't go through pain. It's our fear of failure that stunts us. It's our negative self-talk and denial of ourselves that keeps us from creating the life we want. We as humans are capable of far more than we think. We just choose to stay in what's comfortable, predictable, and easy. Welcome the discomfort. Welcome the change. That is where the next version of you is waiting. Love Rachel. #Motivation Monday. That was an awesome post. You guys should definitely go give her some love on that post. I thought that was really reflective of our experience there at Guns and Geese. And you know, what I was kind of getting into is that I really believe that the people that were there, the energy that was there, and the instructors that led the course really set the tone and provided this space for us to come and get things wrong and be shown the way. And I think that's a lot of, that's something that I see that's missing from a lot of other experiences. And maybe the way that people lead other and instruct other courses is I don't see such a welcoming environment for people to come in what feels very uncomfortable and have a space to actually open up and to say, hey, it's okay if you get it wrong, you know, but let me show you the way. And I think that them leading with that kind of mentality just open up a space for us to be somewhat comfortable as much as you can be in an environment where it might feel uncomfortable initially. And what was so dope, guys, was like, you know, day one, everyone comes into the gun range a certain way. Everyone gets on the mats a certain way, the certain way they're walking and looking around and like maybe timid or uncomfortable or whatever it is. And then the difference between day one and day three was like night and day difference. It was so cool. By the end of, you know, day three, everyone's so comfortable. Everyone's rolling with everyone. You know, you see, for example, there was this one girl there, her name is Rihanna, and she, you know, her day one was the little uncomfortable kind of thing. And by day three, she's like carrying the girls team and sitting there. We have this like, it's called, what is it called? A walk back competition where you like shoot the target and then you walk back. So it's like every time that you go up to shoot, it's further and further away. And by the end of it, she's killing it. Like she carried the whole girls team for us. And I was just so inspired and so proud of her to see that. So that was really, really cool. And that's the thing is like, I didn't just have a great experience for myself. I actually had such a great experience witnessing other people's personal development within 3 days. Guys, it's insane how much you can grow in 3 days given the right environment. And that's the thing is, you know, okay, so both the Gregs, which one of them apparently is called Cooler Greg and Big Greg, whatever. You guys are both just Greg to me. But we have the Gregs, right? We have Joao. They are some of the most, not to like feed their ego or anything. They're probably going to listen to this. Anyways, I think they're some of the most badass people, right? But they're not these like badass people that come and they're like hard and like egocentric and like, you know, puffed up. It's literally the exact opposite. They are so humble and so loving and so kind and so like they would never tell you the things that they've done, right? Like they usually end up having to like tell the group what the other person's done because they are never the ones that are ever trying to make themselves look cool unless they're taking their shirts off. And then that's a whole different story. And sometimes it comes out a little bit, but no one's mad about it. Anyways, no, really though, they lead with such a humble spirit and attitude. And I actually think that really speaks to the jiu-jitsu community from my personal experience and what I've experienced thus far. And what I've experienced thus far is that you can't have an ego in jiu-jitsu because there's always someone better and there's probably always someone that can tap you. And so I feel like whereas maybe in other industries and other fields, you know, you can kind of get the best, you can be the best at what you're doing. You can kind of stay there for a while. And I think, you know, at a certain point you've learned all that you can learn and you're the best and it can definitely feed your ego a little bit. Whereas in jiu-jitsu, like you will get your ass handed to you and then you're reminded not to have that ego. Right. So I kind of feel like their masculine presence, while it is powerful and it is so strong and it is so, you know, they are all such great leaders, there's also this like loving, safe environment that comes with it. And this like gratitude, you know, they have gratitude that they're able to pour into other people like this. And not just are they there pouring into others, I watch them all at different moments, like sharpening themselves too. And I thought that was just really incredible because I really do believe that the way that you lead is by leading by example. And they all live live out exactly what it is that they're teaching, you know? So I think that their attitude, their energy, and the way that they go about instructing and teaching really set the tone for the whole group. And it definitely would have been a completely different weekend and course had they led with ego or led just with a different energy and spirit behind it. And another thing I wanted to mention was, besides all of that, we did things like, you know, having dinner at the end of the night, or my personal favorite was the bonfire that we did, and the steaks. You can't miss the steaks. Those were wonderful. Thanks, Greg Lappin. We had this night where we had steaks in the bonfire, and it was just a really cool time for us to get to connect on a different level outside of the mats, outside of the firearms, and really have those interpersonal conversations. You know, I was able to have some really good conversations with some officers that were there. And we even talked about like my brother's shooting that he went through, and it was cool to get their feedback on it, given their experiences in their field. And we even had this like open-ended Q&A where, you know, people were asking questions to the whole group, and the instructors would answer, or the other classmates would kind of share their opinion. And it's just what life's about, right? Like life is supposed to be about like being together and having that community and pouring into one another, and no egos. And it was just so beautiful. Like it really, this whole weekend gave me so much gratitude for life. It gave me so much gratitude. Like I'm so thankful that I get to be alive, and how cool is it that I get to go and have an experience like that with some incredible people. And, you know, thankfully they're incredible people, because again, the people make it everything, right? So I think I just wanted to talk about this for a few different reasons. Number one, why is it that we want to skip the things that are good for our soul? Right? Have you guys ever been in that position where you schedule an event, or maybe it's a trip, or it's a little thing you decide to go on, and it comes up to it and you kind of want to cancel, or you don't want to go, or you're trying to find excuses in your head of why not to do it, right? Why do we want to do that? And then we go and we do it, and we're like, that was the best thing I could have ever done for myself. Like I can personally say I went into that weekend a certain way and I was experiencing a lot of things even on the first day of it. And by the end of even the first day, I literally forgot everything that was on my mind and that I was dealing with the morning of that day. But by the end of the weekend, I was like riding high on this just love for life. That made me love life. And that's huge. And, you know, at the end of it, I was looking around while they were doing this ceremony where they pass out like the certificates of accomplishing, you know, and finishing the course. And guys, everyone's energy was so good. Everyone's smile on their faces was so genuine. You could tell that people really needed this. They needed, of course, like the actual training and fundamentals, which was amazing, but like they needed the camaraderie, they needed the community, they needed the encouragement and empowerment of one another. I had some issues with some of the gear that I brought, and a gentleman next to me was like, here, just take mine. I have extra. And someone else gave me a light for my gun. And like, just everyone was so willing to help, and just helping wherever it was that help was needed. And it was such a beautiful picture of what humanity, I think, should always look like, and what it can and does look like. Sometimes we can get so distracted and so infiltrated in our minds of the news and media and these negative reports that we forget how good people actually can be. Yes, the evil exists. Yes, the bad exists. Yes, you know, sucky people exist, and they suck. I agree. But there's also a lot of good. And so I wanted to mention it because, number one, don't allow your own excuses to stop you from engaging in an event like this, or in going out and seeking that community for yourself. But then number two, if and when you do put yourself out there and you have a bad experience, don't stop trying. Don't stop trying. I shared recently on my Instagram about how I found a Ju Jitsu gym out here that I'm just really loving being a part of. And someone had reached out saying that they had a really bad experience at a gym one time. And I just encouraged them. I was like, look, I've had roles and experiences like that before. And I'm so glad that I didn't let that stop me from finding my people in my tribe, because now like I have the biggest smile on my face when I go to training, right? And the people really make a difference. So I just want to encourage you guys, if you've tried to find your community, if you've tried to find your tribe, whether it's in fitness or health or church or whatever it is for you, and you've had a bad experience, don't let bad people taint what could be, right? There are beautiful communities in every single category of life, I believe. I think you just have to be willing enough to keep trying until you find those people. So don't stop trying. And honestly, when you're going, if you're not like 100% sold out, and I mean like 100% sold out, then keep trying, because you're going to get around the right group of people and the right energy where you won't even need words. You'll just say, yep, that's it. This is it. So I encourage you guys to do that. I definitely just wanted to, recap the weekend for you guys, because I think it's important to put yourself in situations where you are the newbie, you are the beginner again. Similar to what Rachel was sharing, it gets really easy just to stay in your zone of genius, right? And we're told that all the time, like, find your zone of genius, stay there, get really good at what you do. And there's a lot of wisdom to that. I believe you should do that, but I also believe that you should subject yourself to new environments so that you can always keep this attitude of learning and growing and being a student of life. And I think when you're a student of life, you'll start to experience so many beautiful things. You will start to be fulfilled in so many ways that you didn't even know like you had. I mentioned on another podcast, I think it was, that I started Ju Jitsu, right? And it's actually fulfilling me in ways that I had no idea it would fulfill me in. And I got to say, Greg Anderson always says this, like, he'll talk about Ju Jitsu and he like really loves Ju Jitsu. Am I turning into that? Anyways, he'll talk about it and he's like, no, like, it's not about Ju Jitsu. Like, it'll change your whole life, all these things. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And you're listening, but then you start to experience like a little taste of it. And you're like, Ju Jitsu is one of the most amazing personal development things ever. And I'm literally just starting. I've had like a little sip, I've dipped my toes in a little bit compared to like probably what's out there. And I'm already experiencing how much it's impacting my life. It's really, really incredible. So yeah, I guess Greg Anderson, you're right. But I do just want to say a thank you to Greg Lappin, Greg Anderson, and Joao Assis. You guys were absolutely amazing. You guys just lead in such a way that changes lives. Like, I know that you guys are teaching fundamentals and skills and things like that. And wow, it actually really helped a lot. I went back to training this last week in Ju Jitsu, and I was actually able to apply a skill that I learned during class in a live role, like in a live situation. I was like, wait, that just worked, and it flowed. And it was one of those first moments. So it was really exciting for me, but I was just shocked with like how much better I was after 3 weeks. It still suck, right? But like, just, it's better than it was before. And that's the whole point, right? Is, can I be just a little bit better than I was before? So that training is I've already seen the improvements of it, and I'm executing on it, and I will be back and I will be better. But you guys just really, that was such an incredible weekend. So I love you guys and thank you. And then I also wanted to mention I want to actually talk to the men that were a part of the course. You guys were incredible. I had such good conversations and experiences with all of you there. And, being a female in this kind of environment, there's a lot of other experiences that I've had and that I know other women have had that weren't such a fun and safe environment. And you guys really were just like, we all felt really taken care of. We all felt safe and loved and also encouraged. And I feel like in other scenarios, sometimes you can feel like as a beginner, you're annoying other people because you suck or whatever. And sometimes they give off that vibe. And you guys didn't. Like, you guys provided such a safe space for us to come in and just be exactly where we're at. And it was so encouraging and so welcoming. And I thought it was really incredible. So I just really want to say thank you guys. And to the other women that were a part of the course, you guys, I left so inspired, seriously, by each and every one of you. And I know that not all of us got to have conversations, but low key, I'm an observer and I like to observe people and things. I like to people watch a little bit. And I did a lot of that. And just like seeing you guys light up, whether it was like, there were some really badass blue belts, women that were there, and I would watch you guys and like seeing you light up in your role and like seeing how you were doing things. I thought that was so cool. Oh gosh, my SD card. Okay, we have a few minutes. I got to wrap this up. Sorry about that. And then, some of the other women where like maybe you didn't feel as comfortable, and like watching you progress throughout the weekend and watching you literally gain this new sense of like confidence and the way that you carried yourself and the way that you just showed up to be a boss ass bitch. Sorry if I'm not supposed to say that, but like, I was really inspired by you guys, and I was reading some of your posts and your comments on some of the Guns and Geese posts, and it was just really cool. I have a lot of respect for you guys, both men, women, instructors, Wow, you guys are awesome. And me and my girls group, which, oh yeah, thank you to the girls group. Not, oh yeah, like you guys were a main part of it. I roomed with, let's see, 3 other girls, and we all had such an incredible time together. And we really enjoyed our bonding moments in between all the courses, like just late at night talking and laughing and sharing stories and encouraging each other. Like that was really cool too. And there were some really just awesome individuals. So I'll link them down below in the show notes. But yeah, just thank you to everyone that's involved and to everyone that's listening. I hope that this inspires you to, one, go out there and try something new, right? Acquire a new skill. And let's just be real for a second here. There has never been a better time to equip yourself with survival skills and instincts. I have to say real quickly, one thing that Greg Lappin kept on saying was, I'm not trying to build shooters, I'm trying to build thinkers. And so he would teach us how to think about certain situations. And it wasn't always about being the best skilled and being this like robotic, I do this and then I do that. Well, what if this and that happens, right? What if XYZ happens? So he really harped on helping us learn how to think about certain situations, which I feel was so beneficial and just like, yeah, got the wheels turning like crazy. So it's a really good one, Greg. Keep that one in there. Again, I hope that this inspires the listeners to go out there, equip yourself, because there's never been a better time. It's so important to know how to take care of both yourself and your loved ones. But then 2, just to try something new. And 3, seek out that community that you've really been seeking out. You know, I honestly could have been happy with the first day of Guns and Geese. But then we had 2 more days and it just kept getting better. And which is crazy because the 3rd day was even better than I don't know. Anyways. Clearly, guys, I'm excited about it. Clearly, guys, it was an incredible experience. So I encourage you to seek that out for yourself. And if you are interested in Guns and Geese, I know they do them a couple times a year, but they do get filled out pretty quickly because it's a pretty small group of, I think, like 30, maybe 40 or so. So definitely make sure to check out their posts. And if you want to get on there, get on there. I cannot recommend it enough. And I know that this kind of environment where it's like, you know, jiu-jitsu, you're literally on top of each other, or like shooting, firearms, you really want to be in a safe environment and with people that are just good people, right? So I wouldn't give everyone my 10 of 10 recommendation, but I know without a shadow of a doubt, I could send my most treasured loved ones, family, friends, my followers to them, and you're going to be taken care of, like through and through 100%. So that's what I wanted to share from this weekend. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's episode. And hey, if you're a part of the Evolve X worldwide community, make sure you stay tuned because I'm going to be sharing the Evolve X retreat tickets there as well. So thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, do me a favor, share it with a friend, text it to a friend, share it on your Instagram stories, however it is that you like to get the word out. And let me know what you guys would like to see in the next solo episode. All right, guys, have a great one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.